I thought I was heading to paradise. Turns out I was walking straight into the worst nightmare of my life. My name is Dana. I'm 28 years old from Slovakia, but I work in Vienna as a software engineer. My life was organized, peaceful, successful by every measure. I had a beautiful apartment, a car, friends, a respectable salary. But I was missing just one thing: true love. I'm not the type who goes looking for cheap thrills or shallow relationships. I wanted someone who understood me, loved me, someone I could build something real with. And believe me, that's not as easy in Europe as people think. People there are cold, everyone lives in their own bubble, relationships are superficial, and everyone's wrapped up in themselves. The dream begins. It was March, and winter in Vienna had been brutal that year. Gray skies, endless rain, and cold that cut right through to your bones. I needed to escape, change my scenery, see some sunshine. My friend Katerina had returned from a trip to Hurghada 2 months earlier and wouldn't stop telling me about the Red Sea and its beauty, the coral reefs, the diving, the warm sun, the kind people. She told me, "Dana, you have to go. That place is magical, and the people there have big hearts, not like the people we live with here." I booked a ticket for 2 weeks in April. I was insanely excited. I researched everything, the best diving spots, restaurants, markets, everything. When I landed at Hurghada airport, I felt something strange. I felt like I'd come back to a place I was supposed to be all along. The warmth, the sun, the smell of the sea, everything was different from cold Vienna. The hotel was beautiful, with a view directly overlooking the sea. And the sea, my God, the sea was an unnatural shade of blue, like a painted canvas. The first encounter. On the 3rd day of my trip, I decided to take a walk along the boardwalk after sunset. The sky was orange and purple, the sea calm. I stopped at a small juice shop and ordered a mango juice. And that's when it happened. Mango? Best choice you could make in Egypt. I turned to find a man in his early 30s, tall, tan skin, warm brown eyes, and a smile that reached his eyes. He was wearing a white shirt and jeans, simple but elegant. "I'm Mina," he said, extending his hand. "You look like a new tourist here." I laughed. "Yeah, I'm from Austria. First time in Egypt?" His eyes lit up. "Wow, then I have to show you the real beautiful places, not the ordinary tourist spots." He was kind, respectful, cultured. We talked for a full hour on the boardwalk. He told me about his life in Hurghada, his work as a tour guide, his love for the sea, his dreams of opening his own diving center. And I told him about my life in Vienna, my engineering work, my feeling of loneliness despite my successful life. "Loneliness has nothing to do with success," he said, looking directly into my eyes. "Loneliness comes when you feel like no one really understands you." That sentence pierced my heart like an arrow. I felt like he understood me in a way no one had before. Falling in love. From that day on, we met every single day. Mina would take me to magical places, isolated islands for diving, local restaurants away from the tourist crowds, traditional markets. He'd tell me about his childhood, about his mother who raised him alone after his father died when he was young, about his struggle to finish his education and find work. "I don't want to live an ordinary life, Dana," he told me once as we sat on an empty beach under the stars. "I want to truly love someone, build a life with them, a family, a future. I don't want shallow relationships or temporary things." He was saying exactly what I wanted to hear, and I believed him. I believed every word. On the last day of the first week, he said to me, "Dana, I feel like you're different. I don't want you to leave. I don't want this to end." I hugged him, crying. "I don't want to leave either." "Can we find a solution?" he asked. Maybe you can come back, or maybe we can think of something longer term. I told him about my work, that I could work remotely for periods. His eyes lit up. So you could stay here for long periods? Yeah, I could arrange my life to spend half the time in Vienna and half the time here with you. He hugged me tightly. That's a dream, Dana. You're a gift from God. Crossing the red line. I returned to Vienna after those 2 weeks, but my heart stayed in Hurghada. We talked every day for hours, video calls, messages, photos. I miss you, my soul, he'd tell me. The world here isn't the same without you. And I believed it. I believed every word. After a month, I went back. This time, I booked a small apartment for 3 weeks, and we started living an almost normal life. We'd wake up together, have breakfast together. He'd go to work for a bit while I worked on my laptop, and then we'd spend the rest of the day together. He'd tell me about his dreams. I want to marry you, Dana, have a small wedding by the sea. But I want to establish myself first, open my center, be financially ready. I'd reassure him, I don't care about money, Mina, I care about you. And one night, as we sat on the balcony looking at the sea under the moonlight, he said, Dana, I love you, and I want to be with you in every way. Our eyes met, and what happened, happened. Afterward, I said to him, Mina, we did this without being married. He laughed and hugged me. You're my fiancé, Dana. We've agreed on everything. We'll do the paperwork soon. But I consider you my wife from now on. And I believed him. My God, how stupid I was. The mysterious disappearances. After that trip, I returned to Vienna again, and I organized my life, 2 weeks in Vienna, 2 weeks in Hurghada. But I started noticing something strange. Every time I traveled to Vienna, Mina would disappear. He wouldn't answer his phone for hours, wouldn't send messages like before, and when we did talk, he was tense and rushed. I'm sorry, my love, he'd say. My mom is sick. I was at the hospital with her. Or, work is crazy busy. I have a tourist group that won't let me breathe. Or, my aunt has a problem and needs my help. I believed him. I'd tell him, baby, I understand. The important thing is that you're okay. But a strange feeling was nagging at me. I felt like something was wrong. The shocking news. In July, I noticed my period was late. My heart stopped. I took a pregnancy test in Vienna. Positive, I was pregnant. Mixed feelings flooded me. Fear, joy, anxiety, confusion. I called Mina immediately, but he didn't answer. I tried again, a third time, a fourth. No answer. After 2 days, 2 whole days, he finally answered. Hello? Mina, I was worried about you. Why weren't you answering? Sorry, my phone was off. What happened? Mina, I'm pregnant. Silence. Long, terrifying silence. Are you sure? Yes, I took a test. More silence. Mina, are you happy? Dana, this isn't the right time. We're not ready. My heart shattered. But you said you wanted to build a family. Yeah, but not now. Do you understand the situation? What situation? We love each other. Dana, you need to get an abortion. The word hit me like lightning. What? How can you say that? You got pregnant without me being ready. It's your body. You're responsible. But you're part of this. Dana, you don't understand. In Egypt, relationships without marriage are forbidden. If they find out, we could both go to prison. But we love each other. We can get married now. It's not possible. I'm not ready. You need to get an abortion. And he hung up on me. The desperate attempt, I kept trying to reach him. Messages, calls, everything. Days later, he finally responded. But the message he sent was cold, harsh. Not from the same person I knew. Dana, I've said what I had to say. You need to get an abortion. It's the right decision. I'll help you financially, but after that, we each go our own way. This was a mistake, and we need to fix it. I wrote back, Mina, this is my body. You don't have the right to decide. He replied, and this is my life. I won't acknowledge this child. You'll be a single mother, and trust me, the law here won't help you. In fact, you could go to prison." I felt the world spinning around me. Who was this person? Where was the Mina who loved me? Where was the person who dreamed of a family? The bitter truth. Under terrible psychological pressure, I agreed to have an abortion in Austria. He promised he'd send me the money. I waited a week, 2 weeks. He sent nothing. I tried to call him. No answer. He disappeared completely. That's when I felt I had to know the truth. I started searching. I went on Facebook, Instagram, all the platforms, and I found what broke my back. Mina was on Tinder and another dating site called International Cupid. His profile was full of romantic photos, and he'd written, "Looking for true love and meaningful relationship." I started searching more. I found tourist groups in Europe. I joined them and asked about him, and the bomb exploded in my face. 6 other women besides me. 6. Each one telling the exact same story. One from Germany, another from Poland, a third from Czech Republic, one from Russia, one from Italy, and one from France. Same approach, same words, same promises. He'd meet them, make them fall in love, take their money, sometimes saying his mother was sick, sometimes he wanted to start a business, sometimes he had a financial crisis. Sleep with them, then disappear. One of them was pregnant just like me, and he forced her to get an abortion, promised her the money, and vanished. I felt like I was dying. I felt like my soul had been ripped from my body. Everything, every word, every moment was a lie. The collapse, I went back to Hurghada one last time. I wanted to confront him. I wanted to see his eyes when he told me the truth. I found him sitting in the same cafe where we'd first met. He was sitting with a blonde girl. He was smiling at her with the same smile he'd given me. I stood in front of him. The girl was shocked. He looked at me with cold indifference. "Dana, why are you here?" "I came to ask you one question. Was everything a lie?" He laughed a cold laugh. "What did you think? That you were special?" I was shattered. What was I to you? You were a tourist, and I was working. Working? Yeah, that's my job. I find lonely foreign women like you, give them the attention they need, and profit from them. Simple business. I felt like I was dying standing there. And me? And the pregnancy? Not my problem. You came to Egypt. You agreed. You were naive. The girl with him stood up, shocked, and left. I sat on the floor and cried out loud. People looked at me, but no one approached. Confronting myself, I returned to Vienna completely shattered. I had the abortion alone. No one was by my side. After the procedure, I stayed in my apartment for a whole month, unable to go out, unable to work, unable to live. I kept asking myself, how didn't I understand? How didn't I notice the signs? I was smart, educated, independent. How did I fall into this trap? The truth is, Mina was a professional. He knew exactly what I needed. He knew my weaknesses. He knew I needed love, tenderness, and attention, and he exploited that with complete coldness. A message to the world. Today, I'm telling my story not for pity. I'm telling it so that every woman can avoid falling into the same trap. I'm now writing in all the tourist groups in Europe, warning women, posting photos of Mina and his fake names, because he uses different names. And I've found dozens of other women. Dozens. All of them fell into the same trap. The problem isn't that there are bad men. The problem is that no one punishes them. The law protects them, and society blames the victim. I lost money. I lost my mental health. I lost a child who could have been my life, and I lost my trust in humanity. But I won't stay silent. I'll keep speaking. I'll keep warning, so that not one more woman goes through what I went through. Ladies, please be careful. True love doesn't need rushing, doesn't need lies, and doesn't need victims. And if you feel something's wrong, trust your instinct. I'm Dana, and this is my story.